Prime is the easiest way to run all of your multi-tracks and live performance. Download Prime from the App Store and browse our catalog of thousands of songs at loopcommunity.com. Any track you purchase will automatically be available to you in Prime. Create and save set lists for your upcoming performance. You can add songs, click tracks, and reorder the set list at any time. Prime has a full audio mixer, which allows you to adjust the volume, mute, and solo individual instruments in a song. Prime automatically pans the click to the left and the tracks to the right. You can also connect an audio interface to use multiple audio outputs. Every song comes with a click and cue track, which will guide you through the song as you play. You can also follow along with the visual song map. If you need to change the key or tempo of the song, Prime makes it easy with a single tap. Prime also makes it easy to customize the arrangement of a song. Simply double tap on any section to add or remove a section. The click and cue voice will automatically update to follow your custom arrangement. With section jump, you can be spontaneous while you're performing. Simply tap on any section to repeat or jump to a new song section. So if you want to play the chorus again, just tap on chorus. You can choose whether section jump happens after the current section or after 1 or 2 bars. If you want to repeat a section, just tap the loop button to repeat the current section. Tap it again to repeat the current section infinitely. Prime also gives you your choice of metronome sounds, as well as a variety of guide cue voices to lead you through the song. For hands-free control, connect a MIDI controller to Prime to start, stop, loop, and jump to different sections in a song. With Prime Cloud, you can import and use your own custom audio in Prime. Adding custom section markers and customizing the arrangement is easy, all within the app. All of these features and more are available to you in Prime. It's never been this easy to use multi-tracks and live performance. Download your copy of Prime today. Prime for Mac makes it easy to play back all of your multi-tracks from your laptop or desktop. Download Prime from the Mac App Store and browse our catalog of thousands of songs at loopcommunity.com. Any track you purchase will automatically be available to you in Prime. Create and save set lists for your upcoming performance. You can add songs, click tracks, and reorder the set list at any time. Prime for Mac has a full stereo audio mixer, which allows you to adjust the volume, mute, and solo individual instruments in a song. Prime automatically pans the red click tracks to the left and the blue instrument tracks to the right. You can also connect an audio interface to use multiple audio outputs. Every song comes with a click and cue track, which will guide you through the song as you play. You can also follow along with the visual song map. If you need to change the key or tempo of the song, Prime for Mac makes it easy with just a few clicks. Prime also makes it easy to customize the arrangement of a song. Simply double-click on any section to add or remove a section. The band cue voice will automatically update to follow your new custom arrangement. With section jump, you can be spontaneous while you're performing. Simply click on any section to repeat or jump to a new song section. You can choose whether section jump happens after the current section or after 1 or 2 bars. If you want to repeat a section, click the loop button to repeat the current section. Click it again to repeat the current section infinitely. Prime for Mac also gives you your choice of metronome sounds, as well as a variety of guide cue voices to lead you through your song. For hands-free control, connect a MIDI controller to Prime to start, stop, loop, and jump to different sections in a song. With Prime Cloud, you can import and use your own custom audio in Prime. Adding custom section markers and customizing the arrangement is easy, all within the app. All of these features and more are available to you today in Prime for Mac. It's never been this easy to use MultiTracks in live performance. Download your free copy of Prime today in the App Store.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Loop Live. It is February 15th, 2018. My name is Matt McCoy, and I'm the founder of loopcommunity.com. I'm also an Ableton Live certified trainer, which we're not going to be talking about Ableton today, but I have been using loops and multitracks in worship for, wow, a long time. Honestly, I started using loops and multitracks in worship in the year 2001. So for about 17 years, I've been using these in leading worship. So I've been a worship leader for a long time. I was on staff at a church in Cincinnati called The Vineyard. I was on staff at a church in Chicago called Willow Creek. And I've been doing this for a long time. And I'm really passionate about how do you use technology to enhance your worship set? How can you use technology to make your worship sound huge? Now here's the thing. This applies to no matter how large your church is. So whether you're at a small church plant of like 10 people, or if you're at a church that's like 25,000 people, this still applies to you. And I've been in both of those scenarios. I grew up in a church plant. My dad was a pastor growing up, and we planted different churches all around the United States. And these churches weren't big. I mean, we were setting up in a middle school auditorium every single Sunday. We were missing musicians. We didn't have a full band. You know, sometimes the one bass player we had couldn't play because he was out of town. Or we didn't even have a bass player. And the other thing is, I've been a part of churches like that who we didn't have any money. And so you might be watching this thinking, you know what? I'm actually in that boat. I'm in a small church. We don't have huge budgets. You know, believe it or not, not every church is this massive mega church that has a huge budget, and we get that. So we're passionate about teaching churches how to still use technology in an affordable and easy way. Whether you're at a very small church, or I've also been in a really large church of like 25,000 people where we've got a full band, we have a full orchestra, we have crazy technology and production and a budget. And we still use tracks because you can use tracks to really help just make the sound of your band just way more full. So there's a couple of reasons to use them. One, maybe you're missing musicians and you need to fill in missing parts. Or two, maybe you just need to fill out the sound. So maybe you're playing a song that has like that synth part, that synth lead line, and you don't have a guy to play synth. Or honestly, you just need a shaker underneath. Well, you can add that underneath a full band and it can make your band sound huge. And that's kind of the secret. If you go to a concert, if you go to a Hillsong conference or like a Chris Tomlin event or Passion, whatever, or honestly, even if you go to a non-Christian event, if you go see Justin Bieber or Taylor Swift, all these guys are using tracks. And it's a way to really, and that's why their sound is so massive. It's a way to make your sound really big because you're layering these instruments underneath. So today, what we're going to do is I'm going to actually show you how to do that. And we're going to make it easy. Because here's the thing. I know for me, when I first started doing this, one of the major things that even stopped me from maybe considering doing it was just it seemed intimidating. And it seemed really scary. And I didn't know if I could do it. Because I just wanted to lead worship. I didn't want to be thinking about tracks and a computer and all these devices. I just wanted to lead worship. And so this stuff can seem intimidating, but it does not have to be. And by the time we're done with this class, you're going to feel really confident in how to do this at your church. Whether you're setting up in a school auditorium this Sunday, or you're walking into some massive auditorium that you guys built. All right? So we're going to make this easy. Now here's what's cool, is that we're live. So right now, I'm talking to an audience of, looks like 50 people right now are on Facebook at least. We're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube. And so if you're watching, if you can go ahead and just type in your name, type in where you're from. It's always fun to kind of see where people are tuning in. Lester, what's up, man? Mal, hello from Arizona. Jennifer from Alaska, that's awesome. Hopefully it's maybe warmer there than it is here, although I doubt that. Brandon in Indiana, what's up? Amy in Ventura, California, welcome. Andrew in Atlanta, Brad. Aaron from Denver, Colorado, Corey Brown, Fargo, North Dakota, Adam Sullivan. Oh man, we've got a ton of great people tuning in. This is awesome. So here's what's going to happen is as I go through this, if you guys have questions, I'm going to occasionally pause, and it might be awkward, but I'm going to pause. I'm going to actually read some of your questions and hopefully answer directly the questions you guys have, because I want to make this very easy for you to figure out, all right? So here's the thing. There's a really good chance that by the time we're done, I've actually already kind of covered all the questions you might have. Because we've taught this so many times that we kind of know what people are going to ask. But ask away. I'm going to be looking at the feed as we go. And here's the other thing. If you go ahead and hit the share button right now on this video and share this, you're going to be entered to win 2 MultiTracks. So we're going to give you like a coupon code that you can use to download any 2 MultiTracks you want on the website. So go ahead and hit the share button, and then we're going to draw at the very end of this a person to win those 2 MultiTracks, all right? So, all right, Todd, what's up from Wisconsin? Ryan, Florida. You guys, I'm glad you guys came. Thanks for coming. And we've got a great presentation here for you today. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to dive in to I think, the easiest way to use tracks. Now, here's the thing. If you get into this, there's a lot of ways to do this. There's no wrong or right way to do it, but there are some easier ways than others, all right? So a lot of times you'll hear people who are using Ableton Live, and that's software that I've used before many times. And it's probably it's a really popular software to use to run tracks. However, it can be a little complicated and it takes some time. Now, what's awesome is that as technology has kind of come onto the scene, you can now run tracks from an iPad or from your iPhone or from your computer. And we've actually developed an app called Prime, which makes running tracks so easy. And honestly, if you've just got into this, you're only going to need this app. There's so much you can do with this app. And so here's the thing, is it's a free app and you can get it for iPad. I've got an iPad Pro here. This thing's massive. It's like the new iPhone 11. Hello? So you can get Prime downloaded on your iPad. You can get it on your iPhone. So just go to the iTunes store and search Loop Community Prime, and you can download the app there. I'm going to actually be showing you the app on a MacBook, because you can also download it from the Mac App Store. And what's really cool is it's a completely free app that Loop Community has developed for worship leaders to run tracks. So let me show you it. If you, this is what it looks like on the iPad. But if you actually go to your computer and go to the App Store, if you search for Loop Community over here in the search box, you're going to find the Prime MultiTrack app. And you can just download it. It's completely free. And that's just our gift to you. We want to make this super easy. And once you have that, you can open it up. And this is what it looks like, all right? Now, here's the thing. The app is the same on Mac, iPhone, and iPad. On iPhone, it's a little different only because of how it looks, because you have a much smaller screen. I mean, there's not as much room to put all the app features. So the features are all there, but it just works a little different, all right? I just am laughing now because Cody says the colors of your logo aren't matching the rotation on the back of the computer. And what's funny is that a friend of mine actually said that about a week ago. He's like, my OCD is killing me. And I was like, I don't even know what way the rotation's even supposed to be, but whatever. Anyways, so the app works exactly the same on all platforms. So if you learn it on one, you'll know it on the other. What's awesome about this app is it's really great for volunteers. So I'm leading worship this weekend at a church in Las Vegas called Calvary Chapel. And about 2 months ago, when I started leading worship there, they didn't use tracks at all. And once I left, they actually started using Prime, and they have all of their volunteers using it. And it's super easy. Like anybody in their band, in their Spanish service, they have a guy using Prime. Their drummer in their main service is using Prime. Their youth services are using it. And it's just a really easy way to get everybody in your band involved. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to be working on the Mac version. And let me just show you kind of what you're looking at here. When you first look at it, it's really simple. On the right side of the screen here, I'm going to close this window out so you can kind of see a little more clear. On the right side of the window here, this is your set list, all right? And you can reorder this set list at any time. These are your instrument tracks. So let me just go ahead and hit play so you can hear it. These blue faders are the tracks that are the different instruments in your band. So you can, listen to one, you can solo it. You can mute them. If you just want the keys. These are all your different multi-tracks. And then in the bottom right corner, this is your click and cue. And this is my favorite part about running tracks. Verse, 2, 3, 4. That little voice that tells everybody in the band where they're going. How many times have you been in a rehearsal where you just want to lay on the floor and sob afterwards because you're so exhausted of telling the band hey, we're going to the bridge after the chorus and write that down, and people maybe don't write it down and then you have to do it again. Well, what's awesome is that chorus, 2, 3, 4. That little cue is in everybody's ears. So everybody in the band knows exactly where they're going in the song. Chorus, 2, and that 3, alone, 4. I think, is the best feature of using tracks. I think that's one of the best reasons to use them. Honestly, that alone has turned my rehearsals from maybe 2 hours down to 45 minutes. 2 hours to 45 minutes, because here's the thing. Now you can just run through the songs, and you're not stopping and restarting. 2, 3, 4. So that's an awesome thing. So over here are all your instrument tracks. You can solo them. I've got my guitar track there, or the keys. Or here's a loop. It's like a shaker loop. There's a synth bass here. All right. Now, up at the top, this is your song overview, and it shows you the complete arrangement, the overview of the song, all right? You can zoom in on that if you want. It kind of gives you like a nicer, sometimes I turn that on when I have the iPad down at my feet when I'm leading worship, and I just need to like glance down and see like where in the song am I or what's coming up next. The zoomed in waveform actually makes that kind of nice. So up in the top left corner, you can create a set list by clicking Load Set List. And now these set lists are stored on my computer. Now set list syncing, because I know some of you are going to be asking about that, we don't have that right now, but that is coming. We're working on that. So where you're going to be able to make a set list here and it'll show up on your iPad as well. All right. But as of right now, the set lists are stored on your device. So I'm going to create a set list, and we're going to call this set list, well, we'll just call it February 15 Loop Live. So I have a brand new set list, and now I can start adding songs. Now in the bottom right corner, there's a button that says Add Song. And I press that, it's going to pull up my song library. And these are all the songs that I've either purchased or that I've uploaded into the app. All right? So let's first talk about the purchasing part. If you have ever been to loopcommunity.com, you know that we have a massive collection of songs. So if you go to loopcommunity.com and you search for a song, let's just say we're looking for This Is Amazing Grace. You just search for the song, and here you get to choose which version you want. So we've got the Phil Wickham version or Bethel. Let's look at Phil Wickham. All right. So now here's the song page for This Is Amazing Grace, all right? Now I can choose which type of track I buy. I'm not going to go into major detail into this, but we sell tracks called master tracks, which these are the original tracks from the record label. So if you want the exact tracks from Phil Wickham, then those are the ones to get. We sell premium tracks, which are tracks that our studio makes, and they sound awesome, and they're pretty affordable. And then we sell community tracks, and these are tracks made by worship leaders from all over the world. And I love this part of Loop Community because this is a way to support worship leaders everywhere. When you buy these tracks, money directly goes to those people. So you can choose which version you want. Let's just say we're going to buy the premium track today. What you're going to want to buy if you're using Prime is you're going to buy the in Prime only track, all right, which is right here. If you're wanting it in Prime, but you also want the zip file that has the individual WAV files in it to your computer, to maybe bring it into GarageBand or Logic or Ableton, then you want to buy the MultiTrack file download. This gives you the files and it gives you the track inside of Prime. But if you're just using Prime and if you're just getting going with this, honestly, you just need the in Prime only. So when you click that and purchase it, automatically I can now go to Prime and it's going to show up in my song library. You don't have to do anything. And that's awesome. It makes it so easy. So I can scroll down and find, here's This Is Amazing Grace by Phil Wickham. I can click it, and it's going to start downloading now. And the internet is pretty fast here, so that downloaded pretty quickly. So now, as it loads, it's pulling up the song, and it shows me the song arrangement. I can go ahead and hit play.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
You know, solo these tracks, and these are pretty good. So now let's go ahead and let's add another song. My next song is going to be, let's do Faithful to the End by Bethel, since I already have that one downloaded to the computer. You'll know when a song is downloaded to your device when you see a little checkbox next to the song. So there's a little check mark here, and that means that it's already downloaded to my computer. You don't need internet to actually run these tracks live, because actually that happened to me when I was in Las Vegas. We don't have any internet there. No one in Las Vegas has internet. Can you believe that? No. This church where I was playing didn't have internet. But you don't need internet to run tracks. You just need the internet to initially download the tracks, all right? So the next song, let's do Unstoppable God. And the song after that, let's do Your Love Awakens Me. So I have a 4-song set. I can reorder the order of these tracks by just clicking and dragging them around like this. So if I want to put Your Love Awakens Me first, I can just drag it right up to the top, and that's it, easy. Now let's just say I get into this and I'm like, you know what? Actually, I need to add a click track. I don't have tracks, but I just want a metronome. Because I'm telling you what, if you just play to a click track, your band is going to sound better. Seriously, if you don't take anything from this webinar at all, just get your band on a click track. You will sound really much, much better with a click because it's a steady tempo and everybody in your band is playing to a steady tempo then. So I'm going to click Add Song and I'm going to click Add Click Track because, hey, guess what? My pastor just came up to me and said, hey, can you guys do Revelation song at the end? And you're like, well, I don't have a track for that. This is kind of last minute, but hey, yeah, we'll add a click track for it. So I'm just going to type in Revelation song, set my tempo to, what is it, maybe 70 BPM. The time signature is 4/4, and I can choose from 5 different click sounds. And I'll show you what those sound like in a minute. Now I can hit play, and now at least I have a click, right? Now here's what's cool. So I have my set list. What you can do, and this is an incredible feature of Prime, is you can, let's just say you're in rehearsal and you're like, you know what? My voice is shot, you know, from last night, and I can't sing this high anymore. We need to like bring it down a step. Well, back in the day, this would be a total pain in trying to figure out how to get this track in a different key. Well, what's awesome is in Prime, with just one click, you can change the key of this track. So check this out. I'm gonna actually do it while it's playing so you can hear it. But in the bottom right corner, you can just click and change the key. So right now we're in the key of B, right? I'm going to go down, and now we're in B flat. And Prime is very smart. It knows to only transpose the tracks that are that need to be transposed. So things like drums or shakers do not get transposed. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're in A, or A flat. So you can actually change the key of your tracks right here, all within Prime. And that's a great feature for maybe, you know, you buy a track and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna have someone else sing it. And maybe it's a girl and you need to put it into a girl key. Well, then you need to do that. You can also change the tempo right here by just clicking the down arrow, and notice that it slowed the song down. Pretty big time.
3, 4.
Let me speed it back up. So you can quickly change the key and the tempo on any song. Now I can hit stop, or I can hit spacebar on a Mac and it'll actually stop all the tracks. I can also hit the arrow key to go down into the next song on my set and hit play. Spacebar to play. Arrow key down, it will play the next song. You can also use the arrow keys that are actually on the transport control here. This arrow key is going to actually just go through your set, right? So you can use the arrow keys. Now this little button here, ST, means stereo. If I click this, what it's going to do is it's going to pan the audio, where the tracks only come out one side and the click goes out the other side. For this demo, we're going to use stereo because then we can hear the tracks out of both sides. And I'm going to talk about how to route the audio in a minute. This master fader controls the volume of the blue tracks. So if I want to turn this down, all my blue tracks turned down, but my click kept going. So I can turn that back up, right? Now let me talk to you about different click sounds. If you go to settings, you can choose from a couple different click sounds. Here's marimba, or beep, or rim, or digital. I like this one. You can also change the click subdivision. And this is a global setting, meaning, actually no, sorry, it's song setting, meaning you could have a different click and a click subdivision per song. We did that purposely so that it's different, so you can tailor it to each song in your set. All right, so you can do the click subdivision. Sometimes a drummer, it's helpful for him to stay on the click if it's subdivided like that. At the top, you can also choose the cue sound, and this is cool because if maybe you want someone else to lead you through the song, like Meredith Andrews.
Instrumental. 2, 3,
There's Meredith Andrews, all right? So, or we have, if you are speaking Spanish and you need Spanish cues, we have Spanish cues.
Interludio. 2, 3.
Cool, right? Or we have, Phil Wickham even did cues, which is kind of cool. This is actually his voice. We recorded him in a hotel room in like Florida somewhere.
2, 3, 4.
Cool, right? So honestly, this is major because if you're using something like Ableton Live, it is really hard to do this kind of customization. If you want to change the key, the tempo, you got to really do some work. If you want to change the cues or the click sound, you got to do some work. This is all done for you automatically. You just choose what click and cue sound you want. What's awesome about these cue sounds as well, the band cue, is that they're dynamic, meaning when we change the arrangement of the song, the cue is going to automatically update for me. Some other features that are in here that I'm going to show you is dark mode, if you just want to maybe like turn Prime really dark if you're on a dark stage. So that's cool. Now the next thing I'm going to show you, and before I get there, I'm actually going to look at just a few questions that came through I saw. Isaac says, does having a faster CPU or more RAM help make song transitions any faster? I find that there's a good 3 to 4 seconds between each song. Yes, the faster device you have, the faster those transitions will be, but we're releasing a new version of Prime in about 2 weeks, which makes the transition, which makes the song load time like that. So I think you'll be fine. Good question, Isaac. Aaron, can we make changes to a track? I'm going to show you that in a second. If you want it to the default tempo or the key, you need to go back to the Add Song dialog box and look and see what the default key and the tempo of that track was. And you could either re-add it or change it back to the default. Luke says, can I use these tracks in Ableton Live? You can if you purchase this MultiTrack file download, because that gives it to you in Prime and it gives it to you in Ableton Live. Gary, what's your opinion on volume settings? All right, so here's what I do. I always make my volume, whether it's on iPad, iPhone, Mac, at about 75%. I look at those little dots and I go 3 dots down. And that way it's not going to be peaking and it's going to still be loud enough. And then the master fader, what I do is I keep this set to per song. I have to adjust it. So some songs are really quiet and I turn it all the way up. Some are really loud and I turn them down. And so just in rehearsal or like when the band is off getting coffee somewhere, I put my in-ears on and I play from song to song and adjust the master to level out the volume between all the songs. That's a great question, Gary. All right, so can you make Prime run on PC? Prime does not run on PC. Sorry, Sydney. All right, Bobby, will you be adding a way to fade out a song? Yes, in 2 weeks you'll be able to fade out a song, as well as cool crossfades and transitions. So let me keep going because I think we're going to have some more questions as I keep going. All right, so now what's really cool, and this is another thing that you could, if you wanted to do this in Ableton Live, this would take you like 30 minutes. Friends, I'm telling you, this will save you time. I was using Ableton Live for like 15 years. And in every single week, I'm sitting in my church office working in Ableton Live and spending hours customizing my arrangement and cutting up songs and re-exporting the stems and then re-importing them. Hours. And now you can do this in Prime like that. It's honestly a game changer. So check this out. Let's just say you are playing This Is Amazing Grace, okay? Now with this song arrangement, you can actually customize the arrangement on the fly. I did this last week when I was leading worship, like 5 minutes before the service. I'm like, you know what? I actually want to do the chorus at the beginning. That's because how the sermon, we were coming out of the sermon, all right? So all you do is you click Edit Song and go to Edit Arrangement. And now I can drag these little blocks around wherever I want. So I could, do the chorus at the beginning. I could drag the bridge and do the bridge at the beginning. Or I could move let's just say I want to delete that intro. I can just right click and go to delete. On an iPad, if you double tap, you can delete. If I want to add a section that maybe I already deleted or I want something else, I can double tap or double click and choose from this list of what section I want to add in. So let's just say I want it to be chorus. I'm going to click add. And I can just customize this song as much as I want. I can add sections, delete sections, duplicate sections, and make this song exactly how we do it in the church. All right? I'm not stuck to a track. I'm not stuck to doing it the way that Phil Wickham does it. I mean, that's a great way, but that's not you. Like, Loop Community is all about you sounding like you, not you sounding like someone else, all right? So make these tracks your own. Make the arrangements your own. So now I can hit done, and now I have my own custom arrangement for this song. And here's what's really cool is the click and the cue, that voice, those automatically update to follow my new arrangement.
Chorus, 2, 3, 4.
And now we're right into the chorus, right? Now honestly, what I just did there would have taken probably 30 to 45 minutes to do in Ableton Live, but I was able to do it like that in Prime. So you can customize the arrangement of a song by just clicking Edit Arrangement. All right. Now let's go to Your Love Awakens Me. I'm going to hit play. I'm going to show you something else.
Intro, 2,
Let's
3,
just say that I'm like,
4.
you know what? I actually want that song to start a little
Intro,
faster.
2, 3, 4.
There's like two intros there. There's like a little synth intro, and then there's like the full band intro. And that's cool. But I'm like, you know what? I want that to like be quicker. I'm going to go to Edit Song, Edit Arrangement, and I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to delete this section. All right, so now I just got rid of that little synth part. So now it sounds like this.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so now that's what it sounds. But let's just say there's still a little bit too much dead space here at the beginning, right? This dead space here. You can adjust that by just going here to the start and end time. And I'm going to change the start time. I'm going to go up a little bit. And you saw it got shorter, right? So let's go ahead and hit play now.
3, 4.
And that's a lot faster. Or I could change it back 1 second to make it a little bit less than that.
Intro, 2,
So now it's a
3,
little less.
4.
It's like, honestly, 1 second, you know how this goes. Like sometimes 1 second can feel like 10 seconds. So you can change the start and end time. Let's look at the end of that track.
In, 2, 3,
There's a lot of dead
4.
time at the end of this one too. I can trim that if I want. It may not matter if you're just going from song to song and you're hitting next. It may not matter. But if you're doing auto advancing or crossfades in the future, you might want to set the end time, pull that back a little bit so that the end time is actually a lot sooner.
In, 2, 3, 4.
So I set the end time to be right when it's over, and it just stops. So you can adjust the start and end time here. You can also set a fade out right here. So you can do that on, let's find a song like, here, Faithful to the End. Even though this one already has kind of a fade out, I'm going to turn the fade up to be, 6 seconds, all right? Let's hit play. And you're going to be able to hear the tracks start to fade out.
2, 3, 4.
There goes the fade. You could hear it there. And it's all based off of the end time. So if I wanted that fade to be sooner, I would just need to pull the end time back a little bit. Make sense? So you can adjust the start and end time and add a fade at the end. Now, I know many of you are thinking, well, how do I get from song to song? Right now, the live version of this app has a feature called Auto Advance. And there's a little arrow next to every song in the set list. And if I turn that arrow on, what that means is that when it gets to the end of that song, it's going to automatically go to the next song and play it. All right? So let's go ahead and set the end time on this one. All right? I'm going to set it to 350 to pull it back all the way. And let's go ahead and hit play.
In, 2, 3, 4. Chorus, 2, 3, 4.
So it stopped my first track, started my next track right away. Now, some of you are probably thinking, well, wait, what if I want to like crossfade or transition and do other kind of things like overlap and fades? Well, hey, guess what? In 2 weeks, around there, we're going to be releasing a brand new version of Prime that lets you do crossfades, overlap, a ton of actually other really cool stuff. So that's coming. Do not worry about that. I actually have it on my iPad, but I'm not going to show it to you. It's pretty awesome. So let me look at just a few questions real quick again. So who's the best person to run the tracks? I mean, honestly, there's no wrong or right way to do this. For me as a worship leader, I actually really like running the tracks because then I know when to do this. Like when to start a song, when to stop, when I want to say something, when I want to pray. So I usually put the iPad right on my stand and I run them. However, just this past weekend when I was in Las Vegas leading worship, I let the drummer run it. And it was actually kind of nice because he ran them and I didn't have to think about it at all. And that works really well if you are just running through a set. Good question, Amy. Anna, can I extend the ending? Not in this version of Prime, but you will be able to extend the ending in the version that's coming in a few weeks. Larry, can you jump to anywhere in the song? Yes, I'll show you. How do you get back? Roy, if you customize your arrangement, how do you recreate the original layout? Well, all you have to do is just click on Add Song and add the song again. to your set list, and that'll give you the original. Or, actually, that is the one way. No. If you click on Edit Arrangement and click Reset, it will reset the arrangement back to its original arrangement. So that's another really easy way to do that. Aaron wants dynamic cues and off switch. Yes, that's coming. Okay, I'm going to keep moving. We got a lot of great questions. You guys are killing this. This is awesome. I love hearing about just the questions you guys have. Really good ideas too. Okay, so let me talk about another thing that I love, and this is section jumping. So some of you are thinking, wait, I want to be spontaneous with tracks. I don't want to be locked into like the same arrangement. What if like on the fly, I want to go somewhere else? Or what if we're like in the intro and we're like jamming and we're like, oh man, let's just keep doing the intro a couple more times. Well, you can do that with something called jump time, section jumping, all right? In the settings menu, there's an option called jump time, and there's 3 options right now. There's end of section, which means it will jump after the current section is over. There's 1 bar, which means it will jump after 1 bar from now. And there's after 2 bars, which means it will jump after 2 bars from now. So to demonstrate this for you, I'm going to start with end of section. We're going to play the intro. I'm going to click on the bridge, and you'll notice that the bridge is highlighted, letting me know that the bridge is coming next. But it's not going to jump until the end of this section.
3, 2, 3, 4.
Awesome. So the cues updated for me automatically and went to the bridge. I'm telling you, you could do this in Ableton, but it would take you hours and a massive headache. All right? So that's after section jump time. So anywhere in the section, you can tap on a section, and it will cue that section up to go there next. All right? Now let's look at after 1 bar, and this is what I actually usually have it set on when I'm playing. So let's just say you're in the verse. I'm going to click on bridge.
Bridge, 2, 3, 4.
And after 1 bar, it went to the bridge. Let me try that again. Ready? Chorus.
Chorus, 2, 3, 4.
And now you're into the chorus. Let's go to the outro.
2, 3, 4.
Now let's just say you're jamming on this outro and you're like, we actually want to keep playing this again. Well, I'm going to click this little loop button. And when you press this loop button, it loops that 1 section 1 time.
2, 3, 4.
And the cue voice lets everybody know. Now, if you want to keep doing it infinitely, you can press the loop button twice, and it turns on infinite loop. And now with infinite loop, you could do the outro 1,000,000 times.
2, 3, 4.
Until everybody in the whole congregation leaves. I've actually always wondered, like, how long would it take people to actually just leave? If you like kept playing a song for like 10 minutes, is it 10 minutes? Is it 15 minutes? 20, 30? Like, how long would it take for people actually to walk out? I don't know. Someone try it and let me know. All right. So that's jump time. Pretty cool, right? You can turn on end of section after 1 bar, after 2 bars. It's pretty cool. All right, so let's set it to after 1 bar. So we've gone over editing your arrangement. We've gone over changing the key and the tempo, looping, section jumping, set lists. All right, start and end time. Now let's talk about uploading your own custom audio. Now, what's really cool about Prime is you can use any audio you want in the app. It's really easy to do. You just go to the website, go to loopcommunity.com, and once you log in, there's a button at the very top of the website called, well, it says upload. It's a blue button that says upload. And you just click the upload button, and what you do is you upload all your audio files. So whether they're MP3s or WAV files, and you name them. It gives you an option to name your tracks, and you upload it. About 5 minutes later, your track that you uploaded will automatically show up inside of Prime. So let me show you one that I've done. There's one in here that I've uploaded called This Is Amazing Grace by Matt Matt's version. So let's go ahead and hit play. So you'll notice that there's no section markers, right? And this is probably a question some of you have. Well, so wait a minute, if I upload my own audio though, how do I have sections? Well, what's cool is we made it very easy for you to do inside of the app. So all you do on a song that you've uploaded, you just go to Edit Song and go to Edit Markers. And now it puts my track on a grid, and I can zoom in and see that grid, right? And I can double click anywhere on the grid to add a section. So I know that this is going to be the intro, so I'm going to select intro, and I can hit play to listen.
2, 3, 4.
All right. And let's go and scroll over to where the chord or the verse starts. So it's right there. I'm going to double tap and click verse. All right. And it's really easy to add these in. What's cool is you can just drag these little white dots around to flip things around, to move the sections however you want. Double click, add the sections. Maybe at the end, add the ending section of where it goes. This would take too much time for me to do on this video, but you would just go through the whole song and add all of your sections. And it's pretty simple, all right? Once you have all those, you hit save, and your track is actually going to save to the cloud with all of your sections in there. And once you have sections, now that the app knows where the sections are, now I can edit the arrangement by going to Edit Arrangement, and I can move these blocks around. But obviously, you can't move blocks around if you haven't created the blocks yet. So you can customize the arrangement still with songs that you created. And you can also turn on a dynamic click.
2, 3,
So
4.
if I don't want to use the click that I uploaded, I can turn on click down here where it says dynamic, and I can make it whatever sound I want, right? Same thing with the cue file, that's dynamic as well. By dynamic, what we mean by that is that the click and the cue are being generated live by the app. So it's not using the click and cue file that you uploaded, it's generating them live and lining them up with your tracks. So that's a great feature. Right now, Prime Cloud, 100% free, unlimited storage space. So upload all you want and have fun. But of course, we really appreciate it when you purchase tracks from Loop Community, because that's the only way we can keep this stuff free. Prime is a completely free app, and it's supported by the people who buy tracks from us. And hey, if you buy tracks from us, the section markers are already there, so you don't have to do any work at all. All right, so real quick, what I do want to go over, because I know that some people have this question, because this is important. If you're a beginner, you need to know how to do this, is how do you actually hook this up to your sound system? Like how do you get this audio out of your computer into your sound system? Well, here's what you do. It's really easy. Basically, the blue tracks are automatically panned to the left side of your headphone jack. And the red tracks, which are the click and cues, those are automatically panned to the right side of your headphone jack. Then you come out of your headphone jack, and you can get a cable like this. It's really easy and very, very cheap. It's like a $7 cable. And it has a headphone cable on one side, and it has 2 1/4-inch cables on the other. So it's basically taking the audio from my headphone jack and splitting it into the left side and then the right side. Red is right on these cables, just something to remember. Red is right. Then, so basically what that means is now the blue tracks are going out of the left side, and the red tracks are going out of the right. Then you go into a direct box like this. This is like what you would usually plug your acoustic guitar into, or your piano, all right? And you go in to the direct box. So this direct box is going to be the tracks. And this direct box is going to be called the click. And you send these direct boxes out to your sound system so that now your sound guy can adjust the volume of the tracks down this channel, and he can adjust the volume of the click down this channel, all right? So that's how you hook it up. And you get the click to your band. Hopefully if you guys have in-ear monitors, that's a really easy way to do that. If you don't have in-ear monitors, all you have to do is just send the click to a little mixer back by your drummer and let your drummer mix his own mix. He could have a headphone mix. We have a diagram for that. If you go to our website and search and go to Loop University at the very bottom, we have a diagram that shows you how to set this up if you don't have in-ear monitors. It's very easy. I did it for about 5 years, and I had led worship for 5 years and I never heard the click. I just had my drummer playing along with it. So That is how to actually set up the audio. So we've talked about uploading tracks, we've talked about routing the audio. My next thing I'm going to go into here is we're going to talk about MIDI control and using controllers like the Looptimus controller and how to actually get these tracks rolling from your feet. But before I do that, I want to look at some of your questions. So let me scroll back. How do you save edited arrangements? Did I miss that? Currently, song arrangements all save per set list. So you could have multiple instances of a song, and they could all have different arrangements, but the arrangements are saved per set. Now, saving them in your library is something we're going to add in the future. Great question, Boyd. Oh, sorry, that was actually Luke. Great question. Boyd says, are the iPhone and iPad and Mac apps all identical? Yes, they are. Jacob says, what about pads for prayer time? Yes, that's awesome. I'm glad you asked that. So if you go to add song, I actually have a thing called Prime Pads. This is a really, I love this. So if you go to Loop Community, while that's downloading, I'm going to show you this. If you go to Loop Community and search for Prime Pads, right here, we actually created different pads and different keys that you can purchase and load into Prime. So this is a key of C pad, all right? And when you purchase that, it's only $5. It shows up in Prime automatically. And here's what you can do. This is awesome. You can actually customize how the pad sounds. So I'm going to hit play. And I can adjust the volume of the individual sounds of that pad. If I want to bring in the fifth, or some shimmer. So I actually did this past weekend too, while I read a scripture. And then I set the end time on this pad to automatically go into the next song. So you can run pads. Now when we add crossfades and stuff, that's going to even be a million times better. So, but yeah, check out Prime Pads. That's a great question. Pads for prayer time. Thanks for asking that, Jacob. All right. Mike, after our last song, our pastor does a benediction. Then we usually repeat that last song, but jump in the last chorus. How can we do that with Prime? That's a great question, and that's actually what I was showing earlier. So let's just say your pastor's like, hey, we're going to do This Is Amazing Grace again. Well, all you do is you add This Is Amazing Grace to your set list again. You can have multiple instances of the same song. All right, so at the end, this is our last song, right? This is like after the message. And This Is Amazing Grace, I'm going to customize the arrangement and set it so the chorus is at the beginning. All right, so this version of This Is Amazing Grace is like normal. And then at the very end, I've got This Is Amazing Grace
Chorus, 2,
that starts with the chorus, right?
4.
So that's how you could do that. All right. Ed says, or Eddie says, can you change the tempo in the same song? First part 90, second part 95. You can, but you have to do it live. And I'm going to show you with a MIDI controller how you could do that live. Luke, does it save in your database? Yes, the section markers all save in the database. Jacob says, do we have to add the prayer pad to the set list? Yeah, you just buy the Prime pad and you can add it to your set. Junior, I'm an Ableton user, but seeing the awesome benefits of Prime. Great work. Dude, awesome, man. I'm glad. Honestly, Ableton's amazing, but it's becoming easier and easier to do this stuff all with an iPad or your iPhone, which is kind of crazy. Like, you know what's really bizarre is that there's like so much processing power on an iPhone, and you can do all this stuff with it. Ben, the click setup on the left. All right. Jacob says, what happens if we lose internet on Sunday? That's a great question. The good news is that you do not need internet to run tracks. As once you download them to your device, you don't need internet anymore. In fact, this past weekend when I led worship, I knew we weren't going to have internet. So I went into the office, I downloaded all my songs, I made my set list, and then I got on stage and I turned on airplane mode. The reason I turned on airplane mode is because, a couple things. One, I don't want any sort of alarms, like calendar alarms, to go off. Two, I don't want my mom sending me a text in the middle of worship and it going ding, 3, if I did have the internet there, I didn't want someone like FaceTime calling me or something. So it's good to just go on airplane mode. You don't even need the internet when you're actually leading worship. All right. Those are great questions, you guys. Love it. So now let's jump into one of the last segments of this class, and it's going to be how to use a MIDI controller. So I've got all these toys around me. This is awesome. I'm going to start with something we have called the Looptimus Mini. This is a foot controller that we designed specifically for worship leaders who want to run tracks hands-free, all right? And this is a very easy controller to use because it has 3 buttons. There's a USB jack in the back, and there's a jack in the back for a volume pedal if you want to control the volume of a track, all right? So let me go and plug this in. You can, if you're interested in this, by the way, just go to Loop Community and click on Looptimus at the top of the screen, and it'll take you to looptimus.com, all right? You can also click on Prime at the top, and it'll take you to an info page about Prime. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to load this. I'm going to connect this device to my computer using a USB cable, all right? So I'm plug the USB over in here. All right. Now check this out. When I plug this in, watch Prime. Prime is actually going to, it's going to see that Looptimus is connected. So I'm going to plug it in. And right when I did that, you saw Prime have a little Looptimus logo right next to it. And the MIDI button turned on. So I'm going to click MIDI, and anything that you see, actually I'm going to choose a different song for this demo. Anything that you see that has a white box on it can be assigned to any of these buttons on the Looptimus Mini. So I'm going to click Erase to erase all my previous MIDI notes because I was playing with this earlier. And now I'm just going to map these buttons to do what I want them to do. So real quick, let's just say I want this button to be play. And then I want this button to be stop. So I'm going to click on stop and then press that button. And then I want this button to be next. So I'm going to just click the next arrow and hit that button. And now when I leave MIDI mode, I can put this on the ground and I can just press play and it'll start my first song.
Intro,
right?
2, 3, 4.
Or I can hit stop. I can hit next to go to the next song and hit play.
Intro, 2,
So this is a great
3,
way, just
4.
remote control. No one will even know what you're doing. No one will even see you just tap that. Next, stop. Here's another way to do it. I'm going to clear those again. And let's just say I want this button to be play, and I want this button to be stop, but I want this button over here to be loop. So that now, at any time, I can just loop a section. So I'm going to hit play, and then I'm like, hey, let's loop this. I'm going to press the loop button,
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
and it's going to loop that section. Now my band knows where we're going. I can press it again. It's going to loop again.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
And hit stop. So this is a great way to control Prime. You can plug this into an iPad or an iPhone. All you have to do is use a USB cable that goes into a Apple sells and a little adapter. It's a white adapter that goes from Lightning to USB, and that you can just plug it right into your iPhone or your iPad. So this works with whatever device you're using, and it's a great way to do that. You can also plug in a volume controller back here in the back, and I could map that volume controller to this little master fader. I don't have a volume control on me right now, otherwise I'd show you. But you could map the volume control to the master fader so I could fade in and out my tracks as it's going. Pretty cool, right? So this is the Looptimus Mini. These are $99, starting at $99, depending on what color you want. And this is an awesome controller. Check it out. Really great way to get going. I know a lot of guys who are using these now. So the other controller I'm going to show you is my baby. This is called Looptimus, all right? This is a controller I designed about 4 years ago or so. And this is, again, the same thing. This is actually what kind of brought this one along. This was the first one we did. This is a bigger one. And it just gives you way more control. And I'm honestly going to just scratch the surface of what you can do with this controller. But this is called the Looptimus controller. You can see how people are using it if you go to Instagram and just search #Looptimus. All right? Again, it has USB on the back. I could just plug USB in. It has 2 expression jacks. You can also connect the Looptimus Mini to this one by plugging it in through this jack. and that gives you even more buttons. You can do all sorts of stuff. We're going to do a webinar about that later. But you can also control with 5-pin MIDI if you want. But anyways, let me just show you how I would use this with Prime. So this controller gives you way more buttons. But what's cool about this is you can actually set it up per song. So the next and previous buttons let you choose which song you're on. So let's go to song 9 or 8. I mean, you can have up to 20 songs on this. You could have even more than that if you use a different MIDI channel. So you're definitely not going to run out of space on songs, I promise. So let's go to song 5. All right, I'm on song 5. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. Song 5. And now each song has 6 buttons. A, B, C, D, E, and F. All right? And each of these buttons can be assigned to a different section, maybe in Prime. So check this out. Let's just get a little more advanced with this. I'm going to click on MIDI, and let's hit erase to erase the MIDI messages we were setting up with this guy. And what I'm going to do now for this is I'm going to say on song, well, what song are we on? Let's just see. Let's go to song 1. Let's just make this really easy. Let's go to song 1, and let's go to song 1 on the Looptimus, so we don't get confused here, all right? We're going to go to MIDI, and now I'm going to make button 1 the start of song 1. So when I clicked on start and click this button, it maps it to that. The next button here, I'm going to make that the verse, and then the C button, I'm going to make that chorus. I like making C chorus because I always remember. D over here, let's make that the bridge, and the outro is going to be this button, and then the Looptimus has a global stop button, and I'm going to map that to stop in Prime. I'm going to hit stop. So now check it out. I'm in song 1. If I hit this button, it's going to start my song.
Intro. 2,
And now
3,
I can use the
4.
Looptimus pedal to jump to different sections in the song. So I can press this button to go to the chorus.
Chorus. 2, 3, 4.
Or I can go to the bridge by pressing the bridge button now.
Bridge. 2, 3,
So
4.
you can see how this controller, and then stop to kill the tracks. This controller just gives you more control over all the features in Prime because there's more buttons, all right? So then I would go to song 2, and I would do the same thing. I would go to MIDI and map all the different sections in song 2 to the different buttons I want on here. So this is also another great way to control Prime and to control all your multi-tracks from your feet. Because here's the thing, I know when I teach these classes at different churches and workshops around the country, the #1 question I get from people is, hey, but I want to flow. I want to be spontaneous. I want to still jump around to different sections of a song. So, and you know, most people assume that you can't do that if you're playing to a track, which was a good assumption maybe 5 years ago. Because yeah, you used to be pretty stuck to a track. But now you can very easily loop sections, jump to new sections, and really still have a full sound. Now, I'll just give you a little tip that I've learned. I used to really want to be spontaneous because I thought, I'm spontaneous. I want to be able to jump wherever I want. But then I started realizing that actually I'm not that spontaneous. Usually whenever I play a song, I play it the way I arrange it. And if I do change it up and do some spontaneous moment, it's at the very end of the song. So in that case, all I do currently as a worship leader is I arrange my song as I'm going to do it. So I go to edit song, edit arrangement, I read it, I move it around how I want to do it, and then I go ahead and just play through the song. And if I get to the very end of the song and I'm like, man, I just want to do another bridge or a chorus, well, I either press the bridge button on the Looptimus controller, or I just keep playing to a click and just sing another bridge and be spontaneous like that. So it depends how you lead. Some people are really spontaneous in the middle of a set and they actually want to change it up. And if that's you, that's awesome. And you can do that with Prime. Let me just look at just some last questions we have, and then we're going to wrap this up. Will the Looptimus work with iPad? Yes, it will, Jacob. Oh, audio out. Is there another way to run audio out? This is a very good question. And I didn't go over this, but you can plug in, if you want to get crazy with this, You can plug in an audio interface that maybe gives you 8 outputs, and you can plug that into your iPad or your Mac. And there's a little button in Prime that says outs right here. And if I plugged in an interface, that outs button would light up. And what it would let me do is I could set the output of each different channel here. So I could send the electrics out output 2 and the acoustics out output 3. And then that way your sound guy has way more control over the tracks. It's a great question. So you can use a audio interface for multi-outs. Todd, can I set it up once and have it work for all songs? Or do I have to do it for every song? He's talking about MIDI mapping. You have to do it for each individual song, and that's because each individual song is laid out very differently. Erica, this would be awesome for crew worship. That's awesome. I love Campus Crusade. I led worship for an event in Indianapolis for like 8 years in a row called Indy CC. It's very dear to my heart. All right, those are all really great questions, you guys. And honestly, we're going to be in the chat box and answering more questions. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to email us or send us Facebook messages or Instagram. Make sure that if you want to enter to win the 2 multi-tracks, click the share button on this video right now. Click share. And when you click share, you will be entered to win the 2 multi-tracks. I think it'll be probably like, I don't even know how much, probably like a $50 promo code. So that's pretty awesome. So click share to be entered to win that. We'll be drawing a winner for that. And if you're interested in Looptimus, go to looptimus.com. You can check that out. For Prime, just go to the App Store on your iPhone, iPad, or go to the App Store on the Mac and just search Loop Community Prime, and you can download the app for free. It comes with a free song, so you can already just kind of try it out and see how you like it. I would say if you're brand new and getting used to using this, I would just suggest that you just try it out in rehearsal. Don't feel pressure to like go on Sunday morning right now and try it. Just try it in a rehearsal. Play along with a song. Your band, it might take them a while to get used to the click. But once they get used to it, honestly, people are not going to want to go back. Once people get used to playing with these, they'll be like, I really hope we're using tracks this week. Because one, what I've found is the click and cues really make your volunteers feel comfortable. Your volunteers then aren't wondering where you're going in a song. They just know because the cue's telling them. And so, honestly, as a worship pastor, you want your volunteers feeling comfortable. And so this is a great tool to do that, and it's pretty easy. So I would just say try it in rehearsal, see how it goes. Here's what's also cool is you could set up an account and have your band download the app on their iPad, and they can log in and practice with the songs during the week. So they could all show up to rehearsal on Sunday morning, already have practiced with the tracks. Maybe they could have even soloed like their guitar part and learned the guitar part. This is a great rehearsal tool as well. If you're a one-man band, or maybe you're just wanting to learn the guitar part or the keyboard sound, you can use Prime to do that. So I highly recommend that. Amy says, how long of a USB cable do I need? That's a good question. For the Looptimus, you can go up to, I think, 25 feet with a Looptimus cable, or sorry, with a USB cable. If you need to go farther than that, then you need to like do like an Ethernet or like USB booster connection, or honestly, I would go 5-pin MIDI. But you can just buy, honestly, you don't even need to go buy a USB cable. Just take the one out of your printer. Like just a standard USB cable. I'm sure you've got one sitting in a shoebox in a drawer somewhere, all right? No need to go buy one. Unless you don't have a shoebox full of cables. But you guys, this is awesome, man. So many great questions. Thank you guys for joining us on this Loop Live training. We're going to be doing more of these. So I'm going to do another training soon on how to use Looptimus. And we're going to get deep into what Looptimus can do, because honestly, there's way more it can do. We're also going to do another one on Ableton Live. And if you missed my first one, you could probably go back on our page and watch Intro to Ableton Live, or Ableton for Beginners. And that'll give you an overview of that software if you're interested. But hey, thanks for being part of Loop Community. We're about supporting churches and local worship leaders with quality and affordable tracks. That's what we're about. So thanks for being a part. Thanks for supporting us as we support you. And hope you guys have a great day. See you soon.